Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tori Knowles. I am Secretary Autumn Carney's Special Assistant, so the Secretary of Education. You probably know me as the one who's been blowing up your email inboxes for the past week. So it's great to see all of you face to face. It's really amazing that we have students from every corner of the Commonwealth on this call today, from VMI to some of our amazing community colleges and other public institutions, private institutions, for-profit institutions. We have a really incredible and phenomenal group. Your resumes speak for themselves. It's clear that you were selected to represent your institution because of remarkable leadership, empathy, and intelligence that you've demonstrated during your time on campus. So just really grateful to have you all with us. We have some special guests with us today. And today is really a culmination of effort from a few key partners, the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia, which Paula Robinson and Peter Blake represent. Peter Blake is our director. I believe he's on the line, and Paula directs a lot of the equity and access initiatives at Chev, so we're really grateful for them to be here today. We also have the Secretary of Education, Autumn Carney, and Deputy Secretary Fran Bradford on the line. They are also awesome advocates for education, and we're grateful for their support. And last but certainly not least, calling in from the governor's office, we have the 73rd Governor of Virginia, Dr. Ralph Northam. Governor Northam has led Virginia with wisdom and strength during this difficult time. Throughout his term, he's continually sought to connect with Virginia students, as he firmly believes that policies designed to serve students should be informed by the student experience. This call was his idea, and we're really grateful for his time during this busy season. So, Governor, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Tori, and I know Secretary Carney is with me, and Peter and Paula and Fran, all of you. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I've really been excited to get together with you all, the students, and I wish I was there in person. But as you know, this COVID-19 landed on our doorsteps a couple months ago, and so times have changed. But first of all, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be part of this. Hopefully we can have some interactive dialogue and perhaps answer some questions that may be out there. But the first thing I wanted to say to all of you is I hope that you're healthy and taking care of yourselves, and that your families are healthy as well. That's what's really most important to all of us. We are in the middle of a health crisis. This is a very, very contagious virus. It's kind of interesting and frustrating that we know it's out there, but we can't see it. But believe me, we just have a number of new cases every day, and unfortunately, a number of new deaths, additional deaths each day. So we are taking this very, very seriously. I know it's been a few years since I was in college, but it seems like just yesterday, and I cannot imagine what you all are going through to get through the holidays, December and January, get back into school, and the next thing we know, COVID-19 hits, and your colleges and universities have closed to in-classroom learning. Most of you, I'm sure, have gone home or some other place that is safe. You have done virtual or distant learning. For those of you that are seniors and graduating, congratulations, by the way, but no graduation ceremonies. So I didn't cause this virus, but I just feel badly for all of you. But please know that this too shall pass. We have been through, difficult times before, and if we all continue to work together and follow the guidelines and take care of ourselves and our families, social or physical distancing, frequent hand washing, keeping your hands from your face, and if you're sick, staying home, those are the things that are working. So I really commend all of you for having to deal with this. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't that long ago. If you had told me when I was 20 years old to stay at home, it's like, really? So I know it's been difficult. And by the way, Pam and I are both educators. We have two children. First of all, Pam is from Texas. So she went to Baylor University and then UT, University of Texas, in Galveston. And then I went to VMI, and I have to give a shout out. I saw Sarita Walters is on, hopefully on the call, is a cadet. So hope you're doing well, Sarita. We have two children. Wes is a neurosurgeon down in Chapel Hill, but he graduated from William and Mary in 2010. And then our daughter Aubrey is a web developer. She lives here in Richmond, and she graduated from University of Virginia in 2013. So the higher education is near and dear to our heart, both Pam and me and our kids. A couple just quick issues. As I said, we're in the middle of a health crisis. We're also in the middle of an economic crisis. And the sooner we can get the health crisis behind us, the sooner we can get our economy back up and running and get people working again and back to our, as best we can tell, our normal lifestyles. This has no doubt affected our budget. I know that's not new news to anybody. We were very proud a couple months ago. We had the most progressive budget that Virginia's ever had. And a lot of the investment, a lot of the new spending was in higher education, especially in our historically Black colleges and universities. And we've had to put the budget process on hold, kind of hit the pause button, if you will. And what we'll do is, hopefully, once we can get back on our feet, get revenue coming back into the Commonwealth of Virginia, we'll do a reforecast, and then we'll go back to the priorities that are so important to us, and certainly education is one of those. So be patient with our budget, but please understand these are difficult times financially for everybody. And then the other thing I just wanted to mention was the timing of this. Everybody always says, Ralph, when is this going to, be in our rearview mirror? And I wish I knew the answer to that, but it's, they call it a novel virus. That means we don't know a whole lot about it. We don't know whether it's seasonal. There's not a treatment for it to date. There are a lot of very smart people working on all of the above, but until that happens, this virus is probably going to be with us. But I'm a glass is half full person, and I hope, and if we continue to do what we're doing, that you all will be back on your colleges campuses come fall. So can't guarantee it, but that's certainly what we're working towards. So Tori, thanks for putting this together. And to all of the students, this is just, I'm so excited to have the opportunity to be with you today. And I hope I can answer your questions. If I can't, I may phone a friend, every now and then if I need to. And I have a lot of friends here with me. So Tori, I'll stop there, and I look forward to entertaining the questions.
Sounds great. Thank you, Governor. Thanks for your steadfast support for Virginia students. We really, really appreciate it. So Michael from VCU is going to be our first question. So I'll let Michael introduce himself and go ahead and ask what he has on his mind.
Good afternoon, Governor Northam. My name is Michael Berger. I'm a PhD student in the College of Engineering at Virginia Commonwealth University. Thank you for taking time today to talk to the students. My question deals with student loans. So many graduates or soon-to-be graduates are entering into a rapidly transforming workforce, especially in the wake of COVID-19. Therefore, it's highly likely that many of these students are going to have difficulties finding jobs in their respective fields. How does the Commonwealth plan to help these students with their student loans? Thank you.
Michael, thank you for your question, and go Rams. I hope you're doing well and staying healthy. Your question's kind of two-part, and if I could address the one part first, and that is the job market out there. What are the opportunities for those of you all that are graduating? And just to reminisce a little bit, Michael, our unemployment rate going into COVID-19 was 2.6%. Think about that. It was the lowest it's been in many, many years. And especially in the STEM related fields, I mean, the sky was the limit, and companies and our economy was doing well. Companies were literally competing for folks like you. They just had so many openings, and there weren't enough, people that were trained to fill those openings. And so now we've gone, and we don't know exactly where our unemployment rate is, but it's probably going to be over 10%. So a drastic change from pre-COVID-19, which means that it'll be a little bit more competitive for students such as yourself entering the workforce. But, I still think that there will be great opportunities out there. And as we open up our economy, and I'm going to make an announcement about that tomorrow, we can get back on our feet and get back to where we were as soon as we can. So I would just say I would be excited. You all are it's really a great time in your life, and to be able to go out there and start a career and do good things. So that's one part of the question. The other part of the question is, what about student loans? And again, I went through the college process. Our two children did. And a lot of these loans are federally sponsored. A lot of them are private. We have the CARES Act, which is the federal stimulus. And so we've been able to use some of that funding, and there's also some more discretionary funding that we have available. And Secretary Carney is lobbying me as we speak to really put some of this funding toward helping people with loans and our higher education. So we've been able to allow the no payments on your student loans through the end of September, and that's for the federally sponsored loans. We also have the private loans, and we're trying as best we can to work with those institutions and allow them to give you all some relief as well. So it's kind of a work in process. It kind of depends on how much more funding we receive from the federal government, and another stimulus package, which will give us more flexibility, which is something that governors have asked for. So I would say there's help out there, and if you have a student loan that you're having difficulty with, please let us know. I know Secretary Carney can help. Fran Bradford, who's on the line, Tori, who you've already seen. We'll do everything that we can to kind of help you through this difficult process.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Michael. Lexi Bales is our next question asker. Lexi, I'll let you introduce yourself and go ahead.
Hello, Governor. My name is Lexi Bales. I'm a student at Southwest Virginia Community College. Thank you again for allowing us to be here today to ask you questions. I'm sure we all really appreciate it. As I'm sure you know, many residents in our state still do not have access to receive high-speed internet, whether it be through cable lines or fiber optic. With quarantine and everything from school to work being moved online, has there been a push to bridge the gap and expand internet service to rural areas?
Lexi, stay there on the line with me. And I want to really have this interactive, but first of all, tell me where you're from in the Southwest, and just tell me how you're doing. What's this been like for a person of your age and in the education process? And then I'll answer your question.
So I live in Tazewell County in Southwest Virginia. I guess it's been difficult. I work at the college that I go to as well. So I'm a tutor, and I've switched from tutoring in person to tutoring online. So it's just been a little bit of a difficult process to change, but everything's good. I'm thankful to be healthy and have a job and still be able to work through everything.
You're saying like you have a great attitude, and one of the challenges we've had, to be quite frank, is that if you look at the map of Virginia, there are some areas that obviously have been hit harder by the COVID-19 virus than others, and there's very few cases in the Southwest, and so stay safe, by the way. But we really want to go into phase one as quickly as we can to start open up some of the businesses and allowing people to get back to their lives, realizing that some areas are more at risk than others. So I appreciate you answering my question. So broadband, and I'm going to be fairly brief, or else it'd be midnight, because I can talk about this for a long time. This has been one of my pet peeves, and it really ties into equity and the fact that some areas of Virginia, to your point, have access to broadband, but a lot don't. And believe it or not, 550,000 about families in Virginia don't have access to broadband. So whether it be for education, or whether it be for having a business, or whether it be in having access to things like telehealth, we really need, we're in 2020 here, we really need to make sure that everybody has access to broadband. So just very quickly, when I came into office, about $4 million was being put into expanding broadband a year. We were able to increase that the second year to 19 million. And then in the budget this year, we increased it to 35 million. And so, working with the private companies to get that, as we call it, that last mile. Now we may have to put some of that on hold, but what we've tried to do is realize the fact that in areas like where you're from or where I'm sure, when we don't have access to broadband, what can we do to make sure that everybody has access to remote or virtual learning? And they've done some very creative things, as you know, out in the Southwest to increase Wi-Fi in parking lots. And I realize that's not the most optimal way of getting access to, to the internet, but doing things like that, having people be able to go to the library. Obviously, we have to beware of the, not gathering more than 10 people. So a lot of challenges out there, but everybody has tried to be creative to make sure that everybody has access. But at the end of the day, what we really need to do is continue to focus on investing in broadband across Virginia, because until we are there are going to be, some people that have it and others that don't. And that's just, again, something in the year 2020 that I find is unacceptable. So whether it's me or whether it's your local representatives or your state representatives or your congressman, let them know how important broadband is, especially at a time like this, and tell them to go ahead, that we need to get it done as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lexi.
Thanks, Lexi. Mary, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. We're ready for your question.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Knowles. Hi, Governor. My name is Mary Obengwako. Hi. I'm a nursing graduate from Bryan and Stratton College. On behalf of the student body at Bryan and Stratton College, I would like to thank you, Governor Northam, for all your hard work during this pandemic. It is very comforting to know that we have leaders who are dedicated and passionate about keeping students and all Virginians safe. My question is, would you consider giving a commencement address for the class of 2020? Celebrate the years of hard work and sacrifice, since most schools will not have a traditional graduation ceremony.
Thank you so much, and I hope you're doing well. Let me know how things have been going for you, if you don't mind me asking.
Sure. So I've been really fortunate. I was able to complete all my clinical requirements towards graduation. Virtual learning was kind of challenging because I have little kids as well. So finding that private space and the quiet to attend lectures and take exams was a little challenging, but we got it done. So everyone is safe and we're thankful. And thank you to you for all your hard work.
Well, congratulations on getting all your work completed and being a nurse. My mother's a nurse, and you have a great career ahead of you. And whether you go on to be a nurse practitioner or a doctor or whatever, and what you do is in very high demand, and it will always will be. And just I've practiced medicine for over 30 years, and I've worked with a lot of nurses and just have had a great relationship. So I have a great amount of respect for what you're doing. Regarding your graduation, as I said, what an disappointment that you've come down and you're ready to walk across the stage. And really, I guess I would say there are some graduation speakers who can be very influential, but I think it's fair to say a lot of people, if you ask them who their graduation speaker was, all they want to do is get that diploma and get out there into the real world. But I've given a few graduation addresses, so has my wife. And this is something that we know is very important to the graduating students. And so we're in the process of talking to some people. There may be some people, Mary, believe it or not, that are a lot more influential than me and maybe more exciting for you to have as a speaker. So I would be happy to do it. My wife would be happy, but we're looking at some kind of big names right now. And so I would just say stay tuned. I'm working with Secretary Carney, public media, and we're going to put a great program together for you all so that I know it'll be virtual, but we're going to have a good graduation for all of you. So stay tuned, and we hopefully will be able to announce that in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
We may be calling on some of you guys as we develop those plans too, because we may need some student video clips. So I'll be reaching out about that as well.
All right. Awesome.
Rachel, are you still here with us?
I am.
You're up.
Having a little internet fluctuation going on, but you guys can hear me. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
All
All
better.
right, fantastic. Hello, good evening, Governor. My name is Rachel Hodge. I am a college student at Patrick Henry Community College. I am Vice President of Phi Theta Kappa there on campus, and also a Davenport Fellow. And I had the pleasure of meeting you at our Fellows VIP VCCS legislative session. It was an honor meeting you there. And I appreciate you as well for the hard work that you and your team have been doing. I just want you to know that my family and I, we're doing our part to keep us all safe. We're staying home, and we're taking all necessary precautions to try to lessen the curve. And it is working, and we have to continue to do what we're doing. And so thank you again, Governor, for all that you're doing. My question is there hope of resurrecting the G3 initiative, as it could potentially help to build our economy, as well as increase the percentage of college admissions that's been notably affected by the COVID-19 crisis?
Rachel, thank you so much for the question, and I hope you're doing well. We were so excited this year. We actually worked on G3 for about 2 years. And G3, for those that may not have heard about it, it stands for Get Skilled, Get a Job, and Give Back. And it allows individuals to go to our community colleges without incurring any debt, which is a great deal. And, we had, I don't remember the exact number, but close to 100 million in that ballpark. It might have been a little bit less toward that program. And we may have to put some of that on hold, but there is a chance that we're going to get some more federal stimulus money, that we may have a little bit more discretion or flexibility how we use it. And, that was one of my main priorities. And to your point, it's all about training the workforce, and it's really an equity issue as well. It's not just about the cost of tuition and books, it's the wraparound cost. It's the cost of living, the cost of transportation, or the cost of, for example, taking care of children, if they need to be in child care. So it's still a top priority of ours. And just as soon as we've got everything in place for it, we've done all the planning, but as soon as we get the funding that we need, we'll move forward with that. That was something that was very important to us. Also, early childhood education. We've done a lot of work in that area as well. And it's just, it's been kind of disappointing or frustrating that this virus with us, but we're going to get past this, and, we'll still have the same priorities. And so as soon as we get the revenue we need, we'll move forward with G3 and early childhood and support for our historically Black colleges and universities. A lot of different things that we really felt strongly about, and we'll keep fighting for those priorities.
I appreciate that, Governor. And, you know, I'm actually graduating with a degree in early childhood education and going forward to earn my bachelor's degree in early childhood education. So, yes.
Well, congratulations and keep up the great work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Rachel. Taylor, would you mind going ahead and asking your question?
I don't mind at all. Hello, my name's Taylor. I'm calling from Virginia Wesleyan University. I'm actually calling from your neck of the woods right now. I'm on the Eastern Shore. I'm a Broadwater alum. So, yes, sir. And speaking of graduation, you spoke at my graduation from Broadwater. But my question is about the Virginia Tuition Assistance Grant. I know that there were hopes that it was going to increase this upcoming year, but then due to the crisis, it's been reduced. Do you see it going back up in the next year? Thank you.
Right, Taylor. Well, I hope everything's going okay on the Eastern Shore. And in all seriousness, that's been a real hot spot over there with we've had the meat processing plants. We've got the nursing home down in Nassawadox. A couple retail stores have had outbreaks. So be careful over there and take care of your family as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. As far as Virginia Wesleyan, you know, go Marlins. And that's a great school. And we have a number of great private colleges in Virginia. And it's just, we have so many options and opportunities for people to have access to a great education. And one of the ways that we can really help facilitate that and support those colleges is through our TAG program, our Tuition Assistance Grant. And we had proposed and had it passed in the budget to increase that this year. Again, not to sound like a broken record, but we're going to have to put some things on hold. See where our revenue is, but I can tell you, Taylor, it is still a top priority of mine. Again, the private colleges are so important to the overall picture in Virginia. So we'll do everything that we can. And also, again, as I mentioned, and Secretary Carney and I are working through this, but there is some discretionary funds. There are some funds through the federal package and perhaps another part 4 to that will give us some more discretion. So we'll see how much we end up with and certainly be able to use that for things like the TAG grant. So if we have the revenue, we'll certainly make sure that we take care of students like yourself. But thanks for all you're doing and be safe there on the Eastern Shore.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sir.
Thanks, Governor. Up next, we have Aaliyah from JMU.
Hi, Governor. Thank you so much for being here with us and everything that you're doing, just echoing everything that everyone's been saying. So yes, my name is Aaliyah McLean. I'm a senior from James Madison, and I'm also the outgoing student body president as well. And so I just know you've done a lot of work so far about civic engagement and really ensuring our safety when voting and things like that, and that's so appreciated. So I was just curious, how do you plan to address the hiring of election officers and also that ensuring students are involved in the state and local elections in the upcoming fall?
Wow, great question. And you're graduating from a great university. And when I was at VMI, I had a lot of friends that were actually from the Eastern Shore that went to Madison. And so I used to go up there and visit every now and then. Just a beautiful campus. We have a lot to be proud of. Let me just tell you that elections are what makes our democracy strong. There is nothing more important than people being able to cast a ballot on election day. And people shouldn't have to choose between casting a ballot and their health. And so I have really tried to emphasize the importance of making sure that the voting process in Virginia is safe and healthy for individuals. As you know, we have 2 elections this spring and summer, the local elections or the local offices, which is a general election in Virginia, and then the primary in June. And so what I had proposed, knowing that this virus was going to be with us for a while, to move the May election to November, and then to move the primary, which was in June, back 2 weeks, which I can do as governor. And in order to move the election from May to November, the legislature had to vote for that and pass it. The House of Delegates did when they came back for reconvene. The Senate chose not to. So now what I have done is I have moved the May election back 2 weeks, from the 5th to the 19th. To your point, we want to make sure it's safe. And as you know, a lot of our poll workers tend to be retired and in the vulnerable population. They tend to be elderly. And so the more young people, and not that young people are immune from this virus either, but they're certainly in a safer position perhaps than the elderly. And so the more younger people we can have sign up and work at the polls, the better. So Tori actually has the information if anybody is interested around the Commonwealth, volunteering or working as poll workers, please let Tori know and she can get that information to you. We also have made it a commitment working through our Secretary of Administration, Kiana Connor, who, by the way, is from the Eastern Shore, graduate of VCU, to make sure that we have the PPE necessary. We need to have the mask and things there to make sure that everybody is healthy. And also another thing, the National Guard has actually stepped in, and they're going to be at the polling places to help make sure things are safe as well. So I'm doing everything to make sure that people can vote and be safe. And then the last thing I would say, well, a couple of things real quickly, is that if you can vote absentee, please try to do that. And you can still register absentee, and then you have until the day of the election to turn in your ballot. And if you mark 2A from the excuses of why you're voting absentee, that's because of a sickness, and that the Board of Elections has allowed that to happen. And then, by the way, just while we're on elections, a couple of things that are really exciting. We passed no excuse absentee this year. So after July, you can vote 45 days before an election without any excuses, which is the way it should be. We got rid of voter ID, which is something that folks, I think people should be able to make it as easy as we can to vote. There are other people that want to make it as cumbersome, but anyway, we got rid of the photo ID. And this is really neat here. Think about this. We passed legislation, introduced it and passed to make Election Day a holiday in November. Now, in order to make a new holiday, you have to get rid of an existing holiday. So we got rid of Lee Jackson Day, which we don't need anymore in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So anyway, that's a long-winded answer to your question. But please contact Tori if you're interested in working at the polls, and please, all of you, I don't care you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, register to vote and vote. That's what makes our democracy strong. So thanks and stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Governor. Our last question is from your alma mater, VMI. I'll let Sarita take it away.
All right. Be nice to me now.
Sarita, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Hi, Governor. Thank you for this time. But I've heard domestic violence has kind of increased during this time because, I mean, people can't get away. And I was wondering if there's specific steps you've been taking kind of to help promote these services during this time. I know it's hard also with like nonprofits in general. So thank
Great
you.
Question. Go KeyDeps. What, if you don't mind, what year are you at VMI?
I'm 21, sir.
Yeah. And where are you from?
I'm from Hershey, Pennsylvania. So I'm not from Virginia. Yep. So.
Well, I hope you stay in Virginia after you graduate.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyway, I appreciate your question. And we realized back when this virus started, when we made the stay-at-home order, that was going to be very difficult. It was going to provide increased stress. It was going to bring out things like domestic violence. It was going to bring out things like alcohol and drug dependency. And so we have really tried to work with our community service boards and make sure that they have the staff needed. We also have phone numbers, websites that if you're experiencing it personally, or you know of a neighbor or a friend or whatever, that you can contact us and we can help out. So I think there are a lot of avenues to help with victims of domestic violence. It's been there over time. We know it's the potential for it increases during stressful times like this. And we also have just tried to make available a lot of different avenues for folks to get help. So anyway, I appreciate the question, and I guess the message that I try to give to all Virginians, but anybody that's listening, is to take care of yourself and also to take care of your family and your loved ones, and just understand that we're all human and that we're at increased risk for a lot of these different things that I was talking about, and to help each other get through this. And as I remind people, I'm biased. I think we live in the best state in the best country, but in Pennsylvania is a great state as well. And I know your governor very well. He's working very hard. But we're in this together, and we're a strong country, and we came into this in a strong position. And if we continue to work together, we're going to come out of it even stronger. So hang in there to all of you. And Tori, I don't know how much more time I have, but I just wanted to emphasize that at your all's age, I would always aim high. The sky, as they say, BMI, you can be whatever you want to be, and that's very true. And don't ever be afraid of failing. I mean, we all have been around the block, and if something doesn't go right, just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep on shooting for your dreams. And also, at the end of the day, we obviously have things that we want to do in life, but always remember there's someone else in life that perhaps is less fortunate. And so it's incumbent on all of us to try to help others, and especially during times like this. So I'm proud of you all for hanging in there. Stay strong and keep working hard, and we'll get through this together.
Thank you so much, Governor, for taking the time to be with us today. Can we all give the governor a round of applause? And a round of applause. Amazing that you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for.
Thank you, Miss Tori. Appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Sending out the recording afterwards, so please share this information with your classmates. Also, we have over 60 participants on the call, and I know only a few of you are able to ask questions. So thank you to our panelists who did ask questions. But for those of you whose questions weren't addressed, we'll be sending out a question and answer sheet with a lot of the questions you submitted afterward, as well as a resource sheet. We know that right now it is just a really difficult time, no matter where you are, and no matter if you're a student or not, but there are a lot of resources available to help. So if you know anyone who's struggling from all sorts of different things, we've tried to collect a resource guide. Paula has done a really great job, and our partners at Chev, so we'll get that out to you as well. Please feel free to reach out to our office if you ever have questions. We are ready and available. We love Virginia students, and we're here. We work for you, so use us. Thank you guys for signing on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.